Welcome back, friends, to a beautiful Monday morning on the homestead. We've got a whole bunch of stuff going on today. I'm still on light duty after my crash. Jack's down working on some stumps down down by the quiet woods. Mrs. W's mom is visiting, and they're working in the orchard and the garden. And I've got a bunch of repair stuff to do today, so we'll bring you along kind of a life on the homestead type of day. But let's go check on Jack. He's been down there digging for a couple, 2 or 3 hours, see how he's doing on that big stump. That is a big stump, Jack. How long have you been working on that?
Like 4 or 5 hours, I'd say.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
So what are you doing?
I'm basically just digging out around the roots, so that way we can cut them and get them out of the way.
So Jack's going to jump in there. You can kind of get a size of the scale. That's a big stump. That's about a 3-footer across. So this morning I just kind of gave him some pointers, start digging and undermining these guys so we can get in there with a chainsaw and get those cut. I like how did you dig those out by hand right there?
Oh, no.
Underneath that, or
I collapsed it.
You did it with the machine?
Yeah, and then I helped a little bit with the shovel, but most of it I've just done with the machine.
Looks really good. Well, I'd say you're pretty close. You got one more side to do over there. This is a big one. These tap roots on these guys, as I was telling Jack, will go down. That's the center root. Will go down, I've been told, half the height of the tree.
So 50 feet.
Yeah, this was 100-footer, or maybe 125, so it could be down there. These are really a bugbear to get out. Anyway, so I was going to ask, put it in the comments to see if anyone could guess how many hours it's going to take for you to pop this out of here with that Yanmar.
Mm-hmm.
What are you guessing?
Well, I mean, we have to cut it and everything, so I'm at least another 2 hours, so at least 7.
About a whole day's work. Yeah. And then dragging it out, there's going to be something too.
Think about having to remove these back in the day without a tractor.
Yeah, they used to build a tripod of timbers with a block and tackle, and they would hoist them up, but probably not ones this big.
Is it possible to burn them?
Yeah, you could. They're so wet, though. They will burn, but it takes some time to get them going.
Yeah, but then you don't have to deal with landscaping.
I know. I could have. There would have been ways we could have cut it flush, but I wanted you to have some time on the machine so you could learn how to operate, and it's a good experience for you.
You know what I would have preferred to do? Is just dig a big hole and have fun.
Just pretend you're doing that. All right.
Not when you hit a huge underground branch.
Let's go see what Mrs. W is working on here. What's going on out here?
You should never take a full year off of gardening. It's a disaster, and I will probably need your assistance.
Well, at the end of that stump, your boy's going to be pretty proficient on that tractor, so he can haul whatever you need to haul in here.
Good, because we need a lot of hauling.
Yeah? So what are you working on?
Well, I've got strawberries that are in the pathway, so I'm putting them in the strawberries things. We're weeding the beds, because they need a little bit of spring weeding, and then just everything needs weeding.
How's the marathon training coming?
Pretty good. I'm on track.
You're going to be in Boston next year?
I hope so. That's the goal. That's the plan.
Who's the special visitor?
My mom. Mamma! Vill du vara på TV? Nej. She says she doesn't want to be part of it. Some days you got your gardening grubbies on. Like now, I didn't know I was going to be on the video.
Maybe later.
Maybe later.
All right, I'm going to go fix your tire.
Thank you.
Now, how did that happen?
Well, I didn't check all the 4 tires before I pulled the mower out, and one of them was flat, and so I pulled it off the bead. Is that what it's called?
We can fix that.
Thank you, baby. I love to mow. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was flat. I'm sorry. I'll check it every time before I mow from now on. I wanted to make sure you were proficient at, what is it, getting the bead?
Getting the bead.
Getting the bead.
I finally broke down and got a little tire changing stand. I changed so many tires, especially with the motorcycles. This is actually kind of what that's designed for, but this one came with a little adapter deal that hooks on the bottom, or just stores down there, so you can do smaller tires on here. And these things are like 85 bucks or so. It gets you up off the ground, and it just makes life a whole lot easier for this sort of thing. So good grief, what tire stores charge now for changing tires, and you go down there and fix a flat and it's like 40 bucks or so. You can pay for the thing a couple times of that. So what we're going to need is a ratchet strap. Seating the bead on these tires can be really tough. If you've got a big, heavy, commercial duty compressor, sometimes that will blow enough air to do that, but even then sometimes it doesn't work. You can do it even if you just have a hand pump or just something small, a bike pump, you can do it just by using a ratchet strap. The problem that we run into is you've got the air escapes faster out, off the bead there than you can put it in. So a ratchet strap, what it's going to do is we'll start compressing that around there to make that seal. If you don't have a ratchet strap, I have done it in a pinch with, you can just use a piece of rope and take a piece of rope and go around there, heavy rope, and then take a big pry bar or something and start twisting it around and round, and that like you would with a tourniquet, and that will tighten it up, and you can sometimes get them going that way. There's also ways you can do it with hairspray or starting fluid, and spray it in there and then throw a match at it. We've done that before. That will work too. It's a little unnerving sometimes, but it definitely will work. So I'll just clamp it down and then see if that'll seat. Okay, there we got it. You just have to move it around a little bit, and usually you'll get it. You just got to get your mouth held right there. Take it off before you blow it up, obviously. To find a leak, you get some soapy water and spray it around there. And what you're looking for is a bubble. Spray it around the Schrader valve, the valve stem. Sometimes those will leak. Sometimes you don't have a hole in your tire at all. You just have a bad Schrader valve, and you can thread that out. It's something, when you're at the parts store, you want to get yourself a half dozen of those and keep those on hand. Oh, there we go, right there. Okay, so this tire, we can see, is leaking right here. This tire is going to be shot. Unfortunately, Mrs. W drove it too long and cracked it on that sidewall. And that's not something I could repair. I could usually put a plug in that and seal that up, but I can, well, I don't think that's gonna, I don't think we can, we'll try it. Let's give it a shot. I can see that there is a crack across there, but it does seem to be coming out in one little spot. So we'll give that a shot. Okay, so here's the process. Make sure, get yourself one of these little kits right here. You can get these the slime ones. It's, what is it? 6, 7, well, I forget. I don't think it's very much. I think it was less than $10 right around there. It shocked me how little it is. This is all you need to fix any tire. This should be your emergency kit. Every man should have one of these, no question. So what you get in here is you get a reamer, you get the insertion tool, and you get these little butyl patch deals and a little cheesy tire gauge, so it's better than nothing. So before you take the air out of it, you're going to identify that, right? From the bubbles, you can see it's right there. And I'm going to put this right here, and this is this reamer. I'm going to poke that in there, right? That way I know exactly where it's at. Now we can go ahead and take the Schrader valve out. This is a Schrader valve removal tool. You can just get the cheap ones that are just like a little valve stem. Whatever vehicles you have, you want to have one of those on your tire, because they come loose, and that you can just tighten them up, and that'll typically stop a lot of leaks. So once you get the air out of this, you take this reamer here. We lost our bead. That's all right. We needed to practice it. This is pretty bad. I'm not optimistic here. Now take this guy here and fold him over. A little soap's not going to hurt anything. And we're going to want to push this through, but not all the way through. Just till we want a couple tails sticking out. Put that ratchet strap on there because we're going to need it again to give it some structure here. Twist, lighten your pressure about halfway through. See those tails are sticking up there like that? Can you see that? And then you're going to hold these here, and if you pull this straight out, if it's a good one, yeah, that butyl will come out the end of that, which is split. So there you have those two tails sticking out right there. Now you want to trim those. Now, of course, don't do this. Don't patch a sidewall on a passenger car if you're going to be driving on the road, unless it's an extreme emergency. Of course, you know, you do what you have to do. But if you get a puncture in a sidewall like that, they recommend you're going to have to get a new tire. If it's in the tread, then that's cool. You're fine with that. Now, I don't know if this is going to hold air, but let's better put our Schrader valve back in there. Let's see if it'll hold air. See, just as case in point, I was just telling you these things leak. They didn't used to have this problem, and I'm running into it more and more all the time. I think that these are now probably made in China. The quality's not what they used to be, and they just leak all the time. Like right there, I'm running out of them. I think I've replaced 2 just this week of these things that have went bad. And to finish off with that plug, leave it up, sticking proud a little bit, but you can cut it off so it looks a little bit better. This stuff's pretty tough. Yeah, that's too bad. It's a shame that tire got ruined. Like that, but usually that'll work for you. Don't forget to grease these things. A lot of guys forget that these axles and your steering, your cast iron steering deal, that'll have a grease zerk on it. They need to be greased every year. Just do it when you change your oil, and they won't get all worn out on you. There's also greases there up on those tie rods on a lot of the better mowers. Keep things greased up. The washer on there, and then we got a cotter here. Right tool for the right job. Yeah, we got it. And then the dust boot. Get a valve cap for that too. Don't forget, get yourself one of these, whatever you get, your hardware store or whatever, just get a basic kit, keep that in your car. I'll tell you what, one of these days you'll find some pretty girl on the side of the road with a flat tire. You pull over and you got your kit and a little tire pump in there. You'll be a literal knight in shining armor. It doesn't take much to set a guy apart from what's available out there now. So this is a skill you want to have, and you can get yourself out of a lot of trouble. Get yourself some grease. This is the Bellray waterproof grease. This will probably last you half your life, maybe 2 lives. It lasts forever. Keep that in your shop. That's about the best grease I've ever used. And there we go. We'll see if that gets her going today. She could mow for a little while, but so you see right here. So what caused that, when you drive on it, when it's flat, it cracked the tire.
No.
So I'll order a replacement, but just so you know, if you see that happens, just stop. I put a patch in it. It's going to it'll get you through today.
Okay.
But it might, once the pressure drops a little bit, it might even stop leaking, but at least you can mow, and I'll get some new tires ordered.
So I should stay in the area and not go down into the field?
Yeah, what happened here?
I don't know about that one.
All right, you're off then.
I'm gonna go do the orchard then.
Okay. Just keep an eye on it. If it gets flat, then it gets flat. We'll not much we can do about it.
Thank you, baby.
Mm-hmm.